This meeting is being recorded.
Good morning, everyone. I'm just going to wait a minute or so and just allow people to join the call. Thank you to those of you that have already joined. Morning, Daryl. Nice to see you on the call. We should catch up at some stage. Okay, I think we're going to get started. So welcome everybody to this, the second in a series of showcases where BPESA is providing a platform for our members that provide services to the global business services sector to tell us about the wonderful things they are doing, the products they offer, the services they offer. And today we have 3 member companies joining us. So welcome Paul, welcome Michael, and welcome Lila. I'm just going to do a brief introduction of BPESA, and then I'm going to be individually introducing each of the speakers this morning. So most of you will know that BPESA is the industry body for the GBS sector in South Africa. We have seen great and amazing growth in the sector over the last 3 years. We expect to see that continue, and we've set ourselves targets that by the end of 2030 to have added 500,000 jobs to the GBS sector. All of you in the sector are doing great work and being responsible for this growth. So welcome to all of those that have attended or are attending. And I'm going to kick off. We don't have a lot of time. We're going to be giving each one of the speakers a 15-minute time slot, and which should be more than enough for them to take us through their offerings. First off, we've got Paul from Elevation CX. Paul's a bit of a rebel. He likes to push the boundaries. Hails from the east at Rand and now living in the north, in Broederstroom. I think you can see that he's there under the trees, out in nature. And that's just how I know Paul, ever since I met him many, many years ago. Paul enjoys the outdoors and all that South Africa has to offer. And to fund all his escapades, he has a real career, a long career in the IT industry, and specifically in the customer experience space. He's been with Dimension Data in the past. He's spent some time in Nigeria, and he's now working with a small company, Elevation CX, and I believe they are doing great stuff. So Paul, without further ado, over to you.
Thanks very much, Neville. Thanks for the honest introduction. I know you got poetic license there, and a lot of it is created, but thank you very much. And good morning, everybody. Great to join one of these sessions. I'll just share my screen so I can put up my presentation. And by the way, if you watch me moving, it's because I don't have a false backdrop. That is real trees at the back there. All right, let me just share it. Okay. Well, as I said, good morning, and thanks very much for the opportunity. Just to start off, my name's Paul McIntyre. Yes, I've spent many years in the contact center space, looking at customer experience, customer interaction, and at the beginning of COVID, great timing, Elevation CX was started by a couple of us who have been in the industry for many, many years. So if you look at who we are, we're a great bunch of experienced technologists. We have taken many, many years of experience. I think everybody in the business has had many years experience in technologies, been on the roadmap with all the big players, and also experienced a lot of the changes that we've seen happening over the last couple of years. A lot of technology changes, a lot of enabling, a lot of cloud. Traditionally, what were big players have fallen by the wayside, and young upstarts have become very key and strategic to a lot of organizations. So what we do is taking our experience, taking what we have done and seen done, and then try and map it to what business requirements are out there. Obviously, there's been a game changer when it comes to COVID-19. For what was happening in 2018, 2019, and you look at the requirements today, a lot the same, but this changed. Get into the gap, and I'll take the presentation of what our different technologies are that make up our solution stack. But we try and map the right products and solutions to what the requirements are. So it's not always about the biggest, the most expensive product that can resolve your requirements. It is about finding the right fit, no matter where it fits in the pricing stack. We come from a strong support background with a lot of support structures in place. We support customer bases around their voice or unified communication or contact center infrastructure, have got really good relations in the market. So we leverage where we can to make sure we have the latest technologies that we are supplying to our customer base. And at the bottom line of it, I'm very proud to say we are customer service centric. So we come from a support background, and that's where, you know, the only question we ask is the customer happy? We have a strong technical capability, and that's how we've managed to grow the business. We've also ventured a little bit, and it's been great being part of BPESA and what BPESA stands for and what they're trying to do in South Africa, because we have a small BPO that we are busy bringing up. Not that that's our focus. I think we have a unique relationship with a global player. They're looking for highly skilled people in a specific area, and it's a good fit with Elevation CX. And it also gives us an understanding of what's happening in the BPO world. We are part of it. We'd like to become very strategic technology and solution providers, but we're in the game. We understand the pains, and we understand a lot of the wording that potentially as a technology company you wouldn't have if you weren't trying to establish a bit of a BPO operation. So we're very small. Most of the revenue is going to be technologies, but it's good to get an understanding and our teeth into what a lot of people on the call hopefully are going through. That's a bit of who we are. And then it becomes a conversation of, it's great having all of that. And at one point, it was a really good fit for talking about customer experience. But as we all know, COVID came along, and it has made a lot of people rethink, reevaluate, and potentially re-strategize where they're going, how they're going to go there, and what's important. So I thought I'd just put a slide in. I'm not a know-it-all. I'm just positioning what I've seen in the world, what I've experienced. And I think what most of us have gone through. So I call it a bit of a reality check over the last 2 years. All been strained, all been, having to survive. In parallel, I've got a weekend company that we do trail running. So COVID has really been tough in trying to encourage team sports. The only thing that really kept it going was the health aspect, where people needed to get out. But people reevaluated their lives. So when you come back to Elevation CX and the technology world, I think there's a business reality that's happened. A lot of us have seen companies not make it. We've seen companies have to change the business structures and the technologies they're using, where they've had to reevaluate what costs they're running and why, and what is it delivering for their organizations. And then also, do we need it? If we are trying to keep the ship going, do we need this extra weight on board? So the business reality is driving a lot of change. Business realities are driving potentially a quicker adoption of cloud and outsourcing and trying to use apps. And, there's a lot of volatility in that space. And then underneath all of that is the actual individual, us people. We've had a reality check. Some of us have gone through some tough times. And, they talk about the great resignations that are going to start coming and happening as we speak. Why? Because with work from anywhere, people have seen what is possible. It's not a dream anymore. So a lot of technologies that organizations are rolling out and trying to accommodate to get people to have this hybrid workspace effective and manage them is being driven by a personal reality check. And I think there's a lot of good that can come out of it. And organizations that are looking at accommodating this from a technology point of view, we'd love to have a chat with them. And then, of course, there's just the technology reality. Big companies that were, as people used to say, you never get fired for buying IBM, but a lot of big contact center technology players are not around anymore. And it's sort of brought up little startups that are offering similar, if not better functionality on newer products and newer platforms that you don't have to do migration anymore. You don't have to go from a big, clumsy, legacy type platform. You can start from tomorrow on cloud and pick and choose and configure as you wish. So technology has driven a fast change as well. So you put all of this together and it's an exciting space to be. I think there's quite a lot that's changed specifically with COVID, technologies, and Elevation CX. We look forward to explaining some of the platforms that we work with. So what do we do? As Elevation CX, we're a solutions and technologies company. I did touch early on with the little BPO operation that we are doing for one specific customer. The heart and soul of Elevation CX is very much around solutions, technologies, also understanding company CX or customer experience strategies and how to map the right products to those strategies. You don't have to go and roll out complex Gartner leading Magic Quadrant players. There are other products out there that are very, very effective and cost effective, which is where a lot of companies are starting to put a weight behind now. So we sort of start from a bottom up approach where we look at the communication layer. We then look at the unified communications, and then the full up at the top of the stack would be our omni-channel offering. So we kind of start from the groundwork up and can then also offer solutions in the full omni-channel stack. Then at the end of it, we do a lot of support. We've got platforms, we've got technologies, but the core in CX is really around our support and offerings to our customers. I did get a flash saying my internet's unstable. If I'm still there, shout if you can't hear me. All right, so that's what we do. How do we do it? We have got 4 strategic relationships at this place in time. We start from the bottom up. We have 2 products where we are partners with. One is called 3CX, a very good communications platform and very, very cost effective. We also silver partners with Ribbon, and they have a very good story to talk about Microsoft Teams. One of the things that has happened is companies have rolled out conferencing technologies. And if you look at Zoom, you look at Teams, they've all exploded. Now what they need to do is just attach the ability to make telephone calls or communicate in all channels. And that's where Ribbon has got a really good story to tell. So if you are looking at that, give us a shout. Sorry, I'll just wait for a helicopter to fly over. There we go. Okay, so that is looking at Ribbon, 3CX, what we've also identified is that a lot of companies have got their voice channels. They're mature, they're working. They now need to cater for the extra channels that are coming on around multimedia, your WhatsApps, your Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. There's a very nice product that we use called Sentiment, global leader, and you can put that non-real-time interaction into your customer experience area and not have to forklift and replace your voice infrastructure. So that's the positioning for Sentiments. And right at the top is TalkDesk. They are really rated by Gartner. They are a substantial player internationally. We have some customers in South Africa that are using the product, and it is a full omni-channel with robotics, AI, all the bells and whistles. So if you were looking at talking and saying, this is a solution area you need to look at, give us a shot. We can look at the different areas and try and find the best product or match of products to take your business forward in the new times that we're living in. So that's sort of a high level view from products. If you wanted to reach out to us, I don't know if anybody knows the sign. It's called Shaka. It's a big surfing sign, meaning peace, happiness, etc. There's an email address on the screen here, shaka@elevationcx. Pop us an email. We will then interact with you, have a look at what we can do, what our solutions are, and we can take it forward. Then lastly, a big thanks from me. Thanks, Neville. Thanks to the team for the opportunity to do this presentation and just give a little bit of background around Elevation CX. And our punchline is really what we live by, is the freedom to interact. So we look at platforms and technologies that empower organizations to do the interactions with their customers. If there are any questions, please shout. Neville, over to you.
Oh, thank you, Paul. So yes, if there are any questions, please pop them into the chat window, and we'll address those at the end of, once we've gone through Michael and Lila's presentation. So next up is Michael Barnett, who's a chartered accountant and the general manager of the Training Force, which is part of the listed entity Workforce Group. Michael looks after the rollout of a unique and innovative model that they've created utilizing 12H on the Income Tax Act to help organizations upskill more people in their organizations than they currently are, and enabling them to do so without additional cash outlay. So this sounds very interesting. So Michael, I'm going to hand over to you. You have the screen, you have the floor, and I'll be back at the end of your presentation.
Awesome, thanks, Neville. Let me just share my screen quickly. Just let me know if you can all, if you can just see my screen, if it's come through fine.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah,
your
perfect.
screen.
Perfect. Thank you. So,
Michael, if
perfect.
you can just go into, yeah, that's it. Perfect. Thank you.
Cool. Awesome. So firstly, obviously, thanks Neville and the rest of the team for the opportunity to present. Like Neville alluded to, my name is Michael. I'm part of Training Force. We're part of the listed entity, the Workforce Group. Training Force has been around a long time, since 2003, and probably through this time trained about 200,000 people to date. So been around a long time in the training space. What we have developed is we've taken a look at the industry, and we've looked at how can we come up with some smarter ways to encourage people to obviously want to go and train more people in their organization, but at the same time make sure it makes complete financial sense. We've been working with a lot of call centers across the country. We've been running this very successfully for lots of call centers, and I'm going to give you just a high-level introduction as to how the model worked. So obviously, just as a background for those that aren't aware, SARS has put in place a really nice tax incentive. What they've said to companies is if they go and put employed staff or unemployed staff onto learnerships, there's a really nice tax deduction for you to get for that benefit. The initial fundamental problem when it comes to the normal learnership model, if you want to call it. So, when we talk learnerships, many companies in South Africa are already doing learnerships. They're already engaged in learnerships. They are claiming the tax, but there's a few fundamental problems when you look at how the traditional model works. So when you look at a normal learnership model, you are generally asked to pay money upfront and then, wait 12 months to get your tax back. So when we looked at the model, we said, as much as there really is a nice incentive, we wanted to rejig the model from a financial point of view so that it makes complete sense for a company to want to go and upskill more people, and at the same time, make sure it makes sense for you financially to actually do that. So important to note, our 12H call center model was actually born out of a call center. So, we developed this with a call center. It's designed around a call center. And obviously, having worked with many call centers, we understand that the key objective of a call center is to have people dialing on the phone to make sure that people are busy. There's as little operational downtime as possible. So we have worked out with many different call centers, different ways of delivering the training. And we're very flexible in that space to help that the call centers obviously get the upside of training their people, but at the same time limiting the operational downtime through our intervention. I think that's important to note. The model we've developed here is a very functional model. It's been rolled out at many big call centers around South Africa, and we're looking at obviously growing within the space. I'm going to go down and just briefly run through the benefits of our model. So like I alluded to, we operate at 100% risk. So obviously there's no risk to your company. What that practically means is that in the traditional learnership space, like I was alluding to, you pay money up front and you have to wait 12 months to receive your tax benefit. I think everyone can appreciate here within call centers, one of the big challenges that many call centers face is they've got big staff turnover, big staff attrition in their businesses. So one of the problems that's always faced is, how do I go and train and upskill people and invest in time and money into my staff if I'm not sure if they're going to be there in 3 months or 6 months' time? So we looked at this and said that if we flip the model on its head, and if we say to you, look, we won't charge you a fixed fee per person, we will invoice you every 6 months at your provisional year end. And instead of charging that fixed fee per person, we calculate how much value we've created for you under 12H, and in turn, how much tax have we saved you. And in essence, we invoice only for a percentage of the tax saved. Why that's important is the finance people in any business always like our model because we've perfectly aligned the cash flow benefit to the tax benefit. So from a financial point of view, you guys can never be out of pocket in terms of your learnerships and your training, and we're guaranteeing you only upside from them. So for example, whether a person stays in your call center for 1 month, 6 months, 12 months, whether they finish the learnership and are found competent or not competent, the important thing is that the tax is dependent on how the person does on the learnership. And because we, invoicing only on the back of the tax saved, we are only guaranteeing you upside. So from a financial point of view, CFOs and heads of finance always like our model because it's obviously aligning the cash benefit to the tax benefit. From an HR point of view, the learning and development, staff within a business always like our model because in a normal sense, training providers don't traditionally have a lot of skin in the game when it comes to learnerships and training. They try their best to see what happens and they say, whatever happens, happens. There's a tax claim you can get, but they don't really have real skin in the game. Where we're different is we're actually taking on the full risk of your staff, and we've got a real vested interest in the success of the project. So let's say, for example, we take on 100 learners from a call center. We've got a real vested interest in wanting the staff to be, trained, to be upskilled, to be found competent at the end, because our financial remuneration is directly linked to the success of the project. So the HR people always enjoy, what we're putting forward because we actually have a lot of skin in the game, and we project manage ourselves to say that we believe in our trainers, our project management, our product, that we believe that we can get your staff competent and, throughout the learnership and through the learnership. And if we aren't successful at doing that, we are not financially rewarded. So the finance people like our model because it makes a lot of financial sense and we're aligning the cash benefit to the tax benefit. And the HR people like our model because we've got actual real vested interest and, and skin in the game in terms of the success of the project. One of the benefits of Training Force is we have, over 45 different learnerships, including obviously very specific call center learnerships. So the nice thing is that in your call center, you can look at training your call center staff, you can look at training your cleaning staff, your managers, your drivers, your receptionists, anyone that's within your business. We obviously can run the same model and run in the same capacity, but obviously giving the benefit of training your call center staff, but in addition also looking wide in that. Part of our offering is we also deal with all the CETA registration administration, as well as we do the full project management of the learnership and all the processes that are associated with it. So for example, we deal with the full cradle to grave of the learnership and assist you in from collecting the documents to registering the learnership to internal and external moderation, the full cradle to grave of the learnership. One of the benefits of obviously learnerships, and like Neville alluded to, there's been quite a big push in the call center space. At the moment, there's been a lot of growth in the industry, and I really applaud BPESA and what they're trying to do, and obviously create 500,000 new jobs by 2030. The nice thing about when you hire a new person under learnership is twofold. One, obviously the person arrives in your call center and actually gets formal training in a call center environment. So the nice thing for the person joining the business is they get accredited training in working in a call center environment. Obviously, from a call center point of view, the financial opportunities that there's also an associated tax benefit of hiring that person under the learnership. But more importantly, when you look at training and development, the training and upskilling of staff in a business will always improve the experience of your team, because everyone wants to be upskilled, everyone wants to be better at their job. And what we see in the call centers that really run this, the guys arrive on the floor, their retentions are higher, they're more loyal, and what you end up having is a higher productivity in the workplace, because staff are being trained in a formal environment through accredited training on what they're going to be doing in the call center. Just as a closing point to what we've developed, we're very excited in the BPO space. We work with a lot of very big call centers around the country, and one of the things that I alluded to earlier that comes up a lot is what about the operational downtime? And the nice thing about the learnership is the training is completely flexible. With each of the call centers that we run this model for, we can work with you to understand how the training can be delivered, either via face-to-face, online, blended, and we can build it around your call center so that it doesn't actually take anyone off the floor, but ensures that your staff are being upskilled, but at the same time not impacting any of your operational downtime. We've been running this model for close on 3 years now, and obviously we run this for a lot of big call centers, but at the same time we run this for some of the biggest private and listed entities in the country, in addition to the call centers we run. So we believe we've got a very strong value proposition, one from a financial point of view and two from a training point of view. And we believe we can add an immense amount of value to any call center out there, because we feel with all of our call centers, we are partners in the project, and we aligned both financially and operationally in the success of the project. So, just to give you an idea of the type of opportunity, if a call center had to go and put 100 people onto our model, and let's assume all 100 people finish the learnership and are found competent, we would generate for that call center in just over 12 months, just over R1 million more net profit after tax. At the same time, we would have gone and upskilled a whole lot of people in their business and, improved their level of education and improved their productivity in the workplace, because they'll be better at their job. So I'm going to end off on one last comment, just to say, we as Training Force are very solutions driven. We want to work with you guys, like I've mentioned in my slide, in creating smarter, more efficient ways to think about how you manage and hire staff, and also how you attract more people. It's very competitive out there in the call center environment, in terms of hiring better staff. Service delivery needs to be high, and we believe we've got a huge value add that we can bring into, assisting call centers on that journey. So I'm going to pause there and see if there's any questions. If there isn't, you're more than welcome to contact me. My contact details are on the slide that I've put forward here. And you're welcome to contact me via cell phone, email, any way that you want. And I'm happy to set up time to obviously take you through our model in a lot more detail if you're interested.
Thank you, Michael. That was great. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of interest for what you've just presented. Thank you for that. I'm going to address the questions at the end of the session. So once I've introduced Lila and she's done her presentation. So for those of you on the call, please use the Q&A function. If you want to post more questions, please do so. Next up, we have Lila Souls, who is the founder of Dark Sky Digital. It's a bit of a tongue twister, Dark Sky Digital. And Dark Sky Digital is responsible for helping small to medium enterprises to get their brand out into the market. And Lila built it on a foundation for a passion for all things related to marketing. Lila previously was the marketing manager at Takealot, and she obviously built up a huge knowledge and understanding of the marketing world in that space. I know that they do great these days. And then started her own business with a passion to help smaller companies work through the challenges of marketing. Marketing is one of those areas that has changed fundamentally over the last couple of years. It isn't the normal advertising that we were all used to, and it keeps changing. It's one of those areas that is constantly growing. So, Lila, I'm actually looking forward to this presentation. I'm going to hand over to you. You're welcome to put up your slides if you have them and share them. And then I'll join you at the end of your presentation, and then we can get into some of the questions that have been posted. Thanks, Lila. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Neville, and thank you so much for this opportunity to be presenting here today. I'm just going to share my screen quickly.
Great, I can see them, Lila. You're on mute, but I can see your slides, so off you go. All right, I can see you off mute, Lila. So do you want to just try again? I can see your slides, and you seem to be off mute. So
sorry, for some reason,
as
I present, it takes me off mute. Let's try. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen because it actually mutes me when I share my screen. So I'm just going to go through all my my slides. Alternatively, I really apologize about that. So who we are and what we do, we're a team of digital marketing specialists, and we're a 360-degree digital marketing agency that offers our clients a range of digital marketing solutions, and we tailor those solutions to our clients' business needs. We specialize in small to medium-sized businesses, and we serve clients both locally as well as internationally. And while we offer our clients a large scale of digital marketing solutions like websites, maintenance, website building, Google My Business, our specialist services are really social media management and advertising, search engine optimization, and pay-per-click advertising, which is our Google Ads. And those are really our specialist services. I've personally specialized in all those services, and I do have a great team of people that, you know, build websites and do Google My Business and graphic design and all of those kinds of things. But, you know, when you sign on as a client with Dark Sky Digital, those are really our main services that we offer. I wanted to go through our process a little bit because this is kind of what sets us apart from other agencies. We have a 4-step process, and our process is analysis, goal setting, optimization, and results. And when we look at analysis, this is how we build out your strategy. So we have 2 pillars to our analysis. The first is competitor analysis. So we do an in-depth analysis of your top 3 competitors, and through that we identify key areas within your business that needs attention based on your competitors. And then we also do an industry analysis for your business. So we analyze the industry landscape for each client, obviously because each client's industry is different. And then we identify key benchmarks and trends within that industry that we can use to build out our marketing strategy for our clients. Our next step in the process is goal setting, and this is how we grow your business. So the first thing we do is we identify your business goals as a client. So we have in-depth conversations with our clients around their business goals for the year. What is it that they want to achieve? And then we use those business goals to tailor and calculate our marketing goals. The next thing that we do is we set benchmark data goal setting. So if clients don't have any previous data that they can provide us, we create benchmark goals for them within each service that they are using with us, and we reassess those goals after 3 months to calculate new goals. And then once we have benchmark data, we actually create solid goals for your business that align with your company goals. And with those goals, all our marketing efforts are driven towards achieving those goals and just driving results for your business. The next thing that we do is optimization, and this is how we improve on all your campaigns as a business. So we use a optimization point system, and with this optimization point system, depending on your spend as a business with us, the more optimizations you'll get. So if you spend 10,000 Rand with us, you'll get 10 optimization points. So it's 1 point for every 1,000 Rand. And this basically, we have a list of optimizations that we do for social media, for SEO, for PPC, and based on your spend within each of those services, we will optimize each campaign to help drive those results for your business. We then do monthly optimizations, so that directly links to our optimization points, and those we optimize on a monthly basis, your campaigns. We see how they're performing, we look at the results of your campaigns, and we optimize and make changes within those campaigns to help you, drive those results and move forward with your business. So for example, if you have a social media campaign running and you spend 3,000 Rand with us, you'll have 3 optimization points. You're guaranteed to get a minimum of 1.5 points in terms of optimizations. Sometimes we use 1.5 points, sometimes we use the full 3 points. And that essentially gives us an indication of how many optimizations we can do for your business. So if you have a really small campaign, we don't want to over optimize because then we're not going to really see results. And when we say optimize, we look at things like changing ad creative or changing ad copy or changing a headline, just small tweaks and changes to kind of see what actually works better for your business. And then the final step is results, and this is delivering on the goals and identifying opportunities for your business based on those results. So our clients expect 2 things from us. They get weekly updates as well as monthly reporting. And with weekly updates, this allows clients to stay in the loop of their campaign and also allows them to kind of inform us of any upcoming activity within their business, events, promotions, and we are able to then build that into their optimizations as well as the next month's strategy. We also do monthly reporting, and we also schedule a reporting call with our clients. And this we do so that we can go through the report with our clients and, just talk through the results. We found that a lot of, people don't really understand. Sorry, I live on a busy road. We found that a lot of people don't really understand a lot of the metrics that come through from Google Ads or social media or SEO. At one point, I didn't understand them. So there's obviously a big learning curve that has to happen through reporting. And that's really why we sit on the phone with our clients and go through those reports so that we can explain to them why we are seeing certain data. And then also through our reporting calls, we're able to see any growth opportunities that we discover through that data. So for example, if you're running a PPC campaign and your business is targeted towards, let's say you're a law firm and your business is targeted obviously towards clients that need lawyer consultations and you really specialize in divorce, but you have a whole range of other services. Through your campaign, we can actually see, we actually see people that are looking, they're landing on a page for criminal law, for example. So they're wanting to see, how can they get out of a traffic fine or whatever the case may be. And so we identify new areas of opportunity where we can actually target people and drive more people to your website and to your business. And we've seen really great results through that. So another thing that kind of sets us apart is we're a team that's constantly learning. So like Neville mentioned in the beginning, marketing is a constantly changing arena. Every day there's something new that comes out within marketing, especially digital marketing. And so as a team, we try and stay on top of those industry trends as regularly as possible. What we do is we, look at those trends, we test it, we implement it. It also helps us, identify opportunities for your business. And we're just a team of learning. We're constantly learning. We send our teams, we get our team to do courses within social media, SEO, all those types of things, all the areas that they want to grow in. We help them, grow in those areas. And this just helps us, build that better, team for our clients, as well as that better relationship for our clients. One thing we do is anything that we test and optimize, we implement in our own business. So anything that we do on your campaign, we do on our own business. So we would never, test or implement or optimize anything within your business as a client that we would never do in our own business. So, as a client, you can be rest assured that what we are doing is in the best interest of your business. We successfully drive a lot of revenue for our clients. We drive, a lot of business for our clients. A lot of our clients have seen really great results. We're very open and transparent with our clients as well. And so we have structured, dates where you get certain things from us. And yes, that's pretty much our business. Thank you, Neville, so much for this opportunity.
Well, thank you, Lila. So thanks for that. And I don't know if you want, are there any slides that you'd like to just put up that you feel would add some value? And if you want to, please go ahead and do that. I'm going to go over and address some of the questions. So, Paul, I'm going to go back to you. Thanks, Paul, for the tour of the forest there. Your video was on for quite some time. We were able to see the wilds of Broederstroom. But anyway.
Did you see the lion? I had to move.
But Paul, tell me, when you look at cloud, and this is a question related to that, what is the importance of cloud, versus hosted versus premise, when one looks at it from a communications perspective?
Thanks, Neville, and that's a really good question, and one that we work through with our customers. And it depends on your business requirements and how advanced from an IT point of view the organization is. We always used to joke about certain companies have to see a box hanging on the wall in the good old days. And with telecommunications, depending on the type of incoming trunks or connectivity you have, some organizations from a redundancy point of view want technology on site to keep communications going if the internet connectivity goes down. So there are very few of that. That definitely has slowed down. Hosted is a happening area. I think cloud is where everybody would love to get to, and a lot of adopters are going there. But if you are cost sensitive and you're looking at somewhere where you can own, manage, and coordinate and keep your fingers on the pie, the hosted option is where we see most of our customers. And then if you're looking at complexities, that would sort of take you up into the cloud space. So it's not one that fits all. It depends on the organization and what they're looking for.
Oh, great. Just one more quick question, Paul. The adoption of cloud. One would have, what are you seeing there, amongst the SMEs, amongst the large enterprises?
I think it's a mixed bag of tricks. Cloud is giving smaller guys a very quick execution strategy, because you can switch straight to cloud, you can get all the bells and whistles, you can move faster, you don't have to go through the premise, learning curves, skills, all of that. You can just switch on cloud. I think there are cost constraints there for the bigger players, for the bigger organizations. So they kind of go hybrid in some ways, depending on what functionality they can keep in the cloud, keep voice traffic out the cloud. It's a combination, but cloud is where the end point of roads are heading towards. I just think it's a pricing thing in some ways as well.
Yeah. All right, no, thanks for that, Paul. Michael, I've got one here for you. About learnerships. Basically, who qualifies and who can go on a learnership, and then what are the benefits?
Well, that's a good question, Neville. So predominantly, a lot of people in the country traditionally do learnerships formally because of their BE scorecard in terms of certain demographics and what they need to achieve from a points perspective under skills development. But in actual fact, from a tax point of view, under Section 12H, there's actually anyone of any demographic, any gender, or any race can actually go onto a learnership and is eligible to qualify for the tax. So the nice thing about it is what we're seeing with a lot of companies is traditionally only certain people have been trained in their business because they focused on their scorecard. Where with our model, we actually saying, look, you can actually expand it to more people in your business and give everyone the opportunity to be upskilled in a qualification, because everyone inherently wants to be better at their job, wants to be upskilled, wants to learn more, wants to grow more. And the nice thing about the tax is it's completely independent of gender and race. So the nice thing about it is there's no limitation on a learnership. A person can also go on a different learnership every year. So you can go on, management 3 now, you can do management 5 next year. A call center agent can do, call center 2 now, call center 3 next year. The following year becomes a manager, now he's managing people. He can, go on to management learnerships. The nice thing is you can actually utilize it to grow people within the organization. And people can grow, year on year through the use of learnerships. Some of the benefits, is obviously there's a tax benefit, which is really nice. And we've obviously built our smart model around the tax benefits to financially make it make sense. But also from an employee point of view, the nice thing is that you're hiring someone under learnership. So they get the opportunity to get formal training in what they're going to be doing. What we see in the call center space is, we run a lot of big call centers around the country. And when a guy goes through that formal training before he actually hits the floor, he at least arrives into the call center understanding how a call center works, what he needs to be doing in a call center, how to work in a call center environment. And what you see then is it leads to higher retentions down the line, because someone's at least got a better understanding of what they need to do, how they need to operate, and what actually is expected of them. So there's a shorter learning curve, if that makes sense.
Oh, that sounds great. Lila, here's one for you. Question. If a company already or an organization already has a marketing department that is doing the traditional marketing stuff, are you able to add value to that existing environment?
That's a really good question. Thanks for that, Neville. Yes, we actually are able to provide some additional value to them. So if a company has traditional marketing, what we usually do is, if we go in, we usually look at their marketing strategy, and we sometimes go in on a consultation basis. You know, if they want to kind of keep their digital marketing within their team, and we look at their strategy, we assist them, we help them, improve on that strategy, give them some tips on what they can and cannot do, where they need to be looking, in terms of channels that they should be utilizing, and if need be, a lot of times they, sometimes will say, can you help us with a digital marketing strategy? What do we do? And so, even if a business does have traditional marketing within their business, we can come in even on a consultation basis and help them with their strategy and help them move forward in their business and their marketing.
Okay, great, thank you. Michael, what about, we all experience load shedding and downtime and people working from home, and all sorts of things like that. Does that affect the way you're able to provide your training and the learnerships?
So the nice thing about a learnership is the training is completely flexible. We've been around a long time. We've developed our training in a way that we can deliver training face-to-face. We can deliver training fully online. We can do a hybrid approach, a blended approach. So the nice thing about it is we can cater for kind of any use case, any need. Like I alluded to earlier, our important thing is we work very close with our call centers, and each call center has slight different nuances. And our goal is to obviously work with them to reduce any operational downtime, so that, the important thing is they've got guys either dialing on the phone, outbound or inbound, whatever the case may be, or whatever they're, trying to achieve. And from our side, we build the training around the environment. Obviously, we can use various different methods and techniques to obviously mitigate all of those things you've mentioned. We can deliver face-to-face training, which obviously bypasses any requirement, for electricity if there's load shedding. We're also very dynamic in the sense of, we have many different interventions and ways of delivering training, so we can always adjust for whatever, obviously, the tricky climate sometimes operating in South Africa can bring. So we're very comfortable with, various different ways. If people aren't in the office, we can deliver training online. If people are working remotely, that's not a problem. If people are in the office, we can deliver face-to-face. And we are also national. The important thing to note is we can deliver training really countrywide, which is also a big thing in our favor. We can come up with various interventions across the country.
Okay, no, that sounds good. Paul, I think it's probably down the same line, but from a solution perspective or from a technology perspective, what does the landscape look like now? We've gone through COVID, but also having all these other challenges, about outages, is the cloud available all the time? Is things of that nature, I believe, is what the question is.
I will say that South Africa has the knack of testing any solution. In my previous life, I spent 2 years for my sins in Nigeria, and I thought that was a very interesting country. And as I sit here now and look at South Africa, and you look at the load shedding, you look at infrastructure failures, you look at, the good news is it saves your car and potholes, so you can work from home. So the work from anywhere has got some good side, but there are challenges. And that's what, in many ways, companies struggle with, because it's great saying put it in the cloud, but if that cloud's not available, you have nothing. You need to be able to look at your business, understand what is critical, and how do you work around the challenges in South Africa, because they are here to stay. And also the work from anywhere, you need to empower and equip your staff to be able to work through some of those challenges. So we have some interesting conversations around, UPSs was old technology, but getting off the grid, solar, how are companies accommodating staff to make them productive with technologies that have now reduced in price significantly to cater for working from anywhere? So yeah, it's part of that conversation of what do you put in the cloud, what do you need to keep close to your brick and mortar structures, and what works best across both.
Thanks for that, Paul. I'm not seeing any more questions. So if there are any last final questions, please pop them into the Q&A. And then what I'm just then going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and thank each one of the speakers for your time and your participation in the showcase. Thank you for taking the time out for doing that. Thank you for those of you that have attended, much appreciated. Please be aware that these sessions continue through until the end of March. So every Wednesday, except for next Wednesday, we have a digital insights. I believe it's going to be an extremely exciting session. I've got Dr. Jacques Ludik, one of the country's best knowledges on AI, will be participating in that call together with probably, in my estimation, Australia's best self-service voice specialist who has pioneered self-service in Australia since the turn of the century for the last 20 years. Really, really good knowledge. He's going to be on the session next week, so please look out for that invite. And then I'm still not seeing any questions, so I assume that everybody is happy that the session has been to your liking. If you would like to participate in a future showcase, just drop me an email. My email is neville@bpesa.co.za, and I'll gladly accommodate you into one of the future sessions. So with that, I'd like to thank everyone. Thank you to the panelists, much appreciated. And we'll meet each other somewhere soon. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Neville.
Thanks a lot, Neville.